Hi, welcome to another video on my monorail from Fischertechnik, controlled by BeagleBoard running Ubuntu Linux and the Fischertechnik Robo interface and the program running in written in Python. Last time I had the idea to increase the weight on this side so it would be more balanced, and in itself that was a nice idea, except that it rather increased the weight as well, and that bothers me because apart from the fact that these connections are still there, so it won't run, and the heavier it will be, less likely it will run using these lightweight propellers, but it just won't function. So apart from also the program that I have changed, which seems to run nicely, I also want to reconsider my construction work, which includes also the way the power is being taken from the rails. This being the ground, this being the power. So this takes away the power for the engine, and this takes away, this is the ground connection. Now, right now, both connections are in the middle. And what happens if I take away these two extra weights and relocate this one there? So there is some extra weight on this side and still the power is being taken. That idea reduces the weight, and I still keep, hopefully, enough weight to take power from the grid or to make contact with the ground. So that is the idea, and if I lift it, then I can show you that this will turn around, so it will be more like this, but then located somewhere here, and this ground wire will be then somewhere in the middle, so I don't have to change much of the wire, because this is not an ideal solution either. Anyway, that is the idea for now. So let me take away this, and take away the other extra weight, and then see how I can put this in some nice way. One thing, and now I have also to keep in mind that this ground rail is higher than the power rail, and the difference in height or altitude is exactly this width. So I want to keep the structure intact, this structure, so I need to put one of this here and put the rest on it. So let me just do that, take away the rest, and right, if I want to do that, all I actually have to do is turn it around somehow. Turn this slightly to the end, keeping the wiring intact, and this is it. or is it? So this is a nice idea, but considering this problem, or this presence actually, will it work? Only one way to find out. Test it. So after this reconstruction, let's see if something works. And I wish I could show you, well, with an on-screen camera, but let's first see if this actually does some job. And that should be this one. It's not, which is a very good sign, but I need motor 2, which doesn't do a thing either. And it is really motor 2 that connects the things. So what is wrong here? Let's see. I am dealing with motor 2. Alright, let's see motor 3 now. Alright, output 2, what does it do? Nothing. This is a very curious thing. Do I have the right connection? I do have the right cable inserted, so that is no problem. I do have connection to the interface, so that's no problem either. So the big question is, why isn't it doing anything at all? This is a light from digital 8. This isn't doing anything as far as I can see. Neither is this. This is digital 6. That is the light at the end of the track. So this is not the motor. This is digital 7. So this makes me wonder what the output for motor 1 for the motor is. It says M2. So I really wonder if that is true. Now I should be able to say here set motor. Yes, it is motor 2, and I'm at main, and it is not doing anything at all. This is most curious. So this looks like a piece of wiring. Needless to say, I need a proper contact at both ground and power. And the wires are alright. So the big question is, what is it? Where is the problem? The only thing I can do is doing some measurements on the power grid, because I've noticed before that when I do something like this, and then there wasn't power. So this isn't doing anything. This is showing a light. This is showing a light. So there is control, just not the motor. Ouch. Let's take some care of that. So this is a problem. Everything works except for the motor. So with the multimeter in place, let's measure something. This gives absolutely nothing. I am going to put some power on it. Always helps. Let's see if this helps. Yes, it certainly does. 6 volts. So the question is, do I measure 6 volts over here as well? So I'm measuring and this one. Well, yes, I do measure. So what was the problem? Again, touching, contact, whatever you call it. That was the whole problem. Is that worrisome? A bit, yes. Because if this continues, I will never know how stable everything will be. Anyway, with this solved, let's run the program, because this is only the diagnosis again. Putting the diagnosis on 0, closing the interface, starting the software. So what does it do? Not much so far. Well, I can tidy this up, but for now I'll let it be. Or should I? Alright, let me get rid of this tiny thing. Alright, a little bit securing of wire. Still there. Run again. There is no alright, it writes. So let's follow and let's push the wire a bit. Does it work? Does it help? I really have to push the rods, because anything else will ruin the circuit. And unfortunately it still doesn't run as I like. So let me push it back. It is not really running the way I like, again. But it sounds anyway like running full speed. So that's a gain. In that perspective, this reconstruction was a winning idea. For the rest, not so much yet. Alright, probably still too much weight. The question is how to solve it. No idea. With all these things tested, another possibility dawned on me. If you look at the carriage, and I'll turn it around, you see one wheel and another wheel. So problems can happen by the spread of weight. Now this is less spread weight than, for example, if you use this two wheels instead of one. So what I'm going to do as a test is to see if I replace this one and this one by a set that actually has two. So let me try to remove this one. If this works out. Now it works. So this one will go here. And another one that goes easier. And the point is, of course, that I have to do both in the same way. So considering that this one comes from here, the red one is on the other side, so I would have to do this like this, and this should be turned around. And then let's see about the wires, the wiring. This one should be pulled back here. So let's see how this works out. I tested the wheels and they walk, not walk of course, they ride quite easily. So who knows, this may be an improvement. And again, the only way to test this out is to actually run it. So let's do that. Oops. Yeah, that is my mistake. By pressing the rods together, it actually rides. So let me push it back. And it just rides very slowly, but it does ride. Too slowly, of course, way too slow. But without any clear help. Oh, come on. So let me turn the camera a bit. But anyway, this is a result of just removing or replacing the wheels and spreading the weight. And now you see it does ride. So to be sure this kind of problem is solved, let's push it to the start. This is not what I like, but the rest is kind of what I like, because on screen it goes okay, except for this little part. It is too close to the support. So this is another indication that I really need a long rod in one piece right to the end. About 40 centimeters or something like that. So let me once again push it here. Full speed ahead. Yes, full. See there, it goes over it. It rocks too much. And I do have to press the second rod against the first. And please ride. Why doesn't it ride? I don't really know. Alright. Let's start over again. Actually, this looks rather nice. Granted that I still have to push the rod, the second against the first, but then again it doesn't go on. And the big question is why? What happens if I put them both on the same rod? Oops, let me adjust the camera angle. So what happens? It starts rocking again. I don't like that I have to push it. And once again I have to push it a bit on the top. Let me show it better. I have to push it a bit. And it goes forward very, very slowly. It almost blocks it. And yes, it goes the other way, because it has reached the final part. It has reached D8, digital 8, and there it goes, or it should go anyway. Yes, please go. with a little manual intervention by pressing on the ground rod. And there it goes, piece by piece. But it is clear that this is the solution, replacing two wheels. And let me once again push it to the other side. And it is still bound in that direction towards the controller. Let me help it a little bit. Alright. And it blocks this light, D6, and it goes that way. So that works. And I'm happy it does work. So, as a conclusion, I can tell that the movement of the ground rod here was a good idea. The replacement of the wheels from one to two wheels was a very good idea. And I had no use. It was not necessary to change the code, because apparently it works. It just works. The only problem remaining is this, and this part being 3 rods in a row, and I really have to press them against each other for them to work, and the same goes for this one, because this is a connection as well that is rather loose. And someone gave me some rods, or well, actually spokes from a bicycle, but they were too thin, and that was not their fault, that was my fault, because I thought they were as thick as these, but they were way thinner, and they weren't as long. Well, they were slightly longer, but not long enough. So much for that nice attempt. More ahead, because it's not finished yet. This may be finished, but as you understand, this needs to be done, and probably a longer distance as well. So with this, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. If you don't want to do so for whatever reason, you can also follow me on Twitter with live links to videos. You can also follow me on Instagram, where also link to videos, but you have to copy and paste them. More info on my website. You can find it at the start of this video and under this video, or well, if you look on YouTube, that is. And if you like, you may consider to make a small donation to keep this blog going. And that's it, to be continued. Bye bye.